Can't beat it. Gotta get outside, get your sunlight if you can. That vitamin D. I do not enjoy holding the camera like this. Alright, so I don't really know. I want to start talking like self-improvement, how my journey started, where it's at now, what's pushed me along the way, kept me going, what motivated me, because it's one thing to stick to your plans, and it's another to be disciplined or to be motivated by something. And your motivation will change as you achieve certain goals and you make new ones. But the idea is to keep it going, and that's through discipline. Which, everybody struggles with. Even people that are there doing it have struggled with it in the beginning. But it's all a learning process, and the goal isn't to beat yourself up, but to learn from your shortcomings and mistakes and make it a tool, something that you can grow from. But when I first started my journey with working out, I was a little bit into like the philosophical stuff initially, really into Stoicism, and then read up on Hermeticism. There's a YouTube channel I really liked, Joseph Rodriguez. Might be a little out there for some people, but the thoughts are there. And you don't have to believe 100% in what he's saying, but if you take something and you practice it, you can see there's value in it. And that's the thing, not everybody's right, and you don't have to think they are, but if you take what they say and you practice it in your own life and you see that it can be critically applied, well, why wouldn't you? If you can improve yourself, you would be doing yourself a disservice by not. But that was the beginning, learning about the philosophies. But what helped me with working out, I had a friend who was a little heavier weight. He's younger than I am. He got a job at Planet Fitness, and within 6 months really changed his life and turned it around and achieved the goals that he set forth. And that was something that I was always a shortcoming of mine, was I could say that I wanted to do something, but I would never put it into practice. So seeing him do that really motivated me. I would work out with him here and there, and an opportunity arose in my life where I got some money because a relative passed, and I was able to quit my job, and I really dug in with working out. Started April of 23, I believe, or I think 23, and here we are now 2 years later. But one of my first experiences in the gym, I was on the row machine, the cable row, no idea what I was doing, and taking my chest off it, pulling them down past my sides, and 160 pounds. I was a very small guy, and this gentleman, he was probably like 250, under 6 foot, but he was a meathead. You could tell that he worked out. He was on cycle, he told me after the fact, but he stopped his workout to talk to me and tell me what I needed to do and how I can improve myself and the things that would push me along my journey, and they really did. And it was always an eye-opening moment for me, the fact that he stopped his workout to talk to me, and he had nothing to gain from it. He didn't get anything from helping me out. The only thing that he did was push me further along in my journey and allow me to strive and to grow. So it's always been something I wanted to do, was to give back and do that for others. But I've had that opportunity a handful of times where people came up to me and offered advice, and speaking to them after the fact, it was something about me that they came to and wanted to speak to me, but it was my ability to be able to listen to what they said and take it in and not be cocky or think that I knew everything. And that's what helped me progress so much. But part of it is having a willingness to learn and a willingness to grow. If you think that you have all the answers, then there is no reason for anybody to help you. If you think that you are at the peak of whatever, then why would somebody take the 2 seconds out of their day to offer you advice? Nobody would. So you have to have a willingness to grow. Hope this wind isn't too loud. It's so nice out here. It's cool because the lake's like half frozen over, but she'll start unfreezing. But there's multiple parts to it, you know. It's not all about being in the right place at the right time, or however you want to word it. But if you, this wind is going to fuck this video up. I have to turn around and go to the other side of the lake just so it's not as windy. But that really helped me in the beginning of my journey, having those people come up to me and offer that advice, and having the willingness to learn and to listen. I think that's a big factor in it. But you have to be able to do some research on your own and look stuff up. There's infinite knowledge out there. I mean, if you're watching this video, you understand that you can learn and find anything online. What's crazy is nowadays everything is free, you know. I mean, not everything, but most things are, and you can just watch a YouTube video and learn what you need to learn. It's not something where you have to pay for somebody's course to learn how to train or how to do a bicep curl. There's millions, thousands of videos, whatever number. There's an inordinate amount of videos and information out there. You just have to find it and you have to look for it. But it's not about taking the first one and running with it. You know, you take one, you listen to them, you watch another one, you pick the nuances that you like in theirs, and you do the same for another video, and then you put it into practice and you find what works for you. What the bicep curl variant that works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, and that's fine. But it's your job to find what works for you. I might be able to tell that you have a pump, but I can't tell you how it feels for you. That's something only you know, and you have to learn those nuances. So it's a very big learning process, but that's the joy of it. You know, if everything was just black and white and you could say, do 10 sets of curls twice a week and you'll get the biggest biceps, then everybody would be able to do it. But the fact that there's so many factors and variables, it means that you have to always be progressing. You always have to be learning and changing. And that's the beauty of it. But I really have enjoyed working out. It has changed my life more than anything that I've ever done. It's changed how I view myself. It changed how I talk about myself. It's changed how I eat. It's changed how I view what I eat. You know, I used to eat the most junk food. And I was never fat, but I was out of shape and I was lethargic and I didn't have a drive for anything, and I didn't understand why, but it was the fact that I wasn't resting fully. I would never reach REM sleep. The fact that I wasn't pushing towards goals. I was just blindly going through life. But these are all things that you're going to learn, and it doesn't matter where you're at in life. You can always learn and you can always progress. If somebody thinks that they know everything, then sorry to tell you, but you don't. But some people want to live blindly like that, and they want to live in these falsehoods, and that's fine, but don't be like them, you know? There's always something you can learn from. There's always some way that you can grow as an individual. But I'm really excited to get back on this YouTube. I was doing the fitness stuff, and that's honestly not what I wanted to do initially. I really wanted to do this. I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to explain my life. I wanted to explain the hard comings that I've had and how I overcome them and what has driven me and pushed me in my life experience. Sometimes when I was going through a hard time in life, I would go on YouTube, and I have a channel. I don't know if I will. I'll probably I have a playlist. I'll probably make it public, but there's a lot of people that I like viewing that will teach what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. And like I said earlier with the working out, just because something works for somebody doesn't mean that's going to work for you, and that's fine. But instead of failing on your own, you can learn from somebody else's shortcomings and grow through them, you know? It's not always something where you have to learn the lesson the hard way. And that is a lesson that I've had to learn. You know, I always felt that, you know, someone telling me, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Well, let me do it and let me fail. But that's really stubborn, and it's a hard-headed way of living, and it doesn't doesn't do well for you. You know, if you can learn from other people's mistakes, then you're going to be so far ahead of the people that are doing it on their own. And like I said earlier, you know, there's a infinite amount of knowledge out there and an infinite amount of people who are willing to share it. You just have to be willing to listen. Yeah. But really excited to get back on this. Excited to be more consistent with it. Start doing what I initially saw this channel going to be. So I think it'll be cool. Hi. But I think it's going to be something like this where I walk around or I sit in my car and just talk. Sometimes it's very therapeutic to just let stuff out and to put it into the universe. And you know, a lot of these things that I'm speaking, I don't do them every day. I don't practice them daily, but through speaking them to you guys, it might motivate me to do them more and to practice it more myself, because you can't recommend someone to do something that you don't do. It's kind of ignorant, especially when it applies to your own life. But I'm at a very big changing point right now and a growing point, and I'm excited, and I couldn't be happier to be where I'm at and to have the challenges that I have. You know, oftentimes we ask for challenges, and it might not, you might not literally be saying make my life harder, but when you ask for more in your life and you ask for better things, that's what's attached to it, is more of a challenge, you know? So sometimes you have to accept what you are given. We get stuck on these ideas, you know, that that's not what I asked for, and this is too hard, and this and that, but oftentimes it is what you wanted, and you just have to see it through, and you really got to push yourself and be willing to make those changes. But it's a beautiful day today. I can't beat it. It's been cold the last 6 months, so this is very nice. Definitely enjoying this. But I'm gonna stop saying but and eventually. Just gotta get more comfortable holding my phone and talking to myself. But something that big word for me lately has been perspective. I think sometimes you lose sight of that, you know? You look at where you think you should be or where you were before, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't change where you are today. Your actions right now change where you are today. And that's how you better yourself, and that's how you make a different scenario for yourself. I'm not going to get further down the road by looking behind me. I'm going to get further on the road by looking in front of me, by taking steps forward. And it sounds very simple like that, but you can oftentimes get so caught up in what could have been, or how you should have done this, or how you should have acted, or what if I would have done this, but it will never change anything. It's not a bad thing to say, I did this and this happened, and next time I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to achieve this, and this will be my outcome. And that's perfectly fine, because you're pointing out a shortcoming and you're making a change, whether it's today or in your future. But to get so caught up in looking behind you, you lose sight of what is in front of you. And that's the perspective, you know? It's a very simple statement, but to some people, a glass half full is half empty. But somebody who is appreciative is going to say that it's half full. Somebody who is pessimistic is going to say that it's half empty. And you can live either life that you want, but the one that looks at it half full is going to be more enlightened, in my opinion. But glad that I'm here. I'm thankful that I'm here. And the only tattoo I have, it's Latin. It says everything happens for a reason, and I will die preaching that. And if you don't appreciate what you have or where you are, then nothing's meant to be, you know. But We're almost back, so I'm gonna cut this out, but it's beautiful.